Aloha and welcome to Betty's Real Estate Corner, brought to you by Sakamoto Properties, where prestige is our business, reputation our foundation. Here we are again, Betty's Real Estate Corner. My husband Roy Sakamoto is here, and today we have David Freedman. David with Diamond Head Lending.
Aloha. How are you?
Aloha all. We're going to try to come up with a variety of things that you're going to want to hear about today, but probably the biggest thing that we want to talk about is mortgage loans. We have David, so we've got him here to give us a whole lot of exciting details. He's been in the middle of doing some amazing loans for clients of ours to facilitate closings that are happening, and it's really meant a lot to our company. So we're going to really get him to give us some skinny on it all, but first let's hear what Roy's got to say for today.
Well, I think Neil Everett again. The lead-in with Neil Everett is awesome. Big voice with ESPN and national voice, national face with ESPN. And for him to again dedicate his time and effort to help Lahainaluna is awesome. And thanks, Neil. And how is the fundraising going?
It's going really pretty good. Pretty good.
Betty's on the Lahainaluna High School Foundation board. So
I'll tell you one thing that we needed help with right now, and David Freedman has been offering to help us out on a Saturday where we've been trying to be in there and doing weed whacking, etc. We called it at one point, we were just picking weeds. I mean, this is major up there. It's been major. That we're supposed to be doing it Saturday, but we're thinking we may possibly get rained out, so there'll be no Saturday. But we're going to be working on it just because, again, as part of the fundraising question, there's only so much money. The stadium is so unbelievable that if you haven't seen it, you need to go up there and look. It's the same field that the Dallas Cowboys have. So these kids have the best of the best right now for a small school, Lahainaluna. And when you see those kids playing great football, really excelling in track over the last couple of years, soccer, etc. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they have this field, and you're going to really be thrilled when you get up there. But right now, there's been additional funding. Everything keeps costing more than we're expecting. There's always something that has to get changed. The American Disabilities Act came into play a number of times. We had to add additional facilities and widen some entries. But it's fabulous. And now this whole landscaping question and being able to keep it up, because again, it's going to cost a lot of money. So I think for the foreseeable future, it's going to take a lot of us helping out to see to it that it looks its best. And I still believe there'll be a game there this year.
Yeah, and you mentioned fundraising. There's fun, F-U-N, raising also, which sounds like a reading project. Is kind of a fun project.
It is fun.
Volunteer.
It is a fun volunteer project. Last week when we were there were fewer people than everyone expected. But people get tied up. It's Saturday, it's a day off, and then we kept blowing out weed whackers. Not that I was running any of the weed whackers, but there were some amazing people that were up there. Obviously, Lanny Tejada is always one of the top, and Mark Tillman, and Jeff Rogers, and I should probably...
Right, and a big mahalo also to Mike Jones from Kapalua Golf.
Right, Mike Jones. He showed up and brought with him 3 weed whackers after we had blown out others. And he was dressed for his office, had on bright khakis, beautiful Aloha shirt, normal everyday work shoes for him. And he was getting down and dirty and handling one of the weed whackers. But truly, everybody had fun. We had lots of sodas and water, and I survived 3 hours, but that was kind of my limit for the Lahaina sun. And then I had an appointment also, but still 3 hours. It was fun. I can't wait to get up there again and to have the group together, and we're making a difference. We are going to see to it that the stadium looks good, and right now we can't afford to bring in a big management company, landscape company to make it look perfect. We've got to do it ourselves for a while, and it's going to be great. You're going to love every minute when you come up there.
Oh, the stadium is awesome. Have you seen it, David?
I have. I actually walked my dogs up in the area, and
nice.
You were a student there, so obviously you can see the change over the years.
Big time. Yeah.
I gotta believe that's gotta be the best view from any football field
In the world.
In the world. If they did a calendar of the top 10 vistas from a football field, it would be it. And it's an incredible view. It's the best view, an incredible field, and it's part of our community.
It is our community. You know, Roy graduated from Lahainaluna High School in 1960. My daughter graduated from Lahainaluna High School in 1982, which I should also go, but she did, 1982. And Roy's dad graduated in 1929.
Yes.
So one of the fundraising projects right now is that for only $1,000, as Neil Everett said, you can buy a row of bleachers and you'll be able to put something on the sides of that. So we actually purchased one, and if you go to Lahainaluna High School Foundation.org and take a look at it, you can see what the different classes have done. So Roy and I decided that we were going to pay the $1,000 for the first class, which was 1831. So the class of 1831 is going to have their own bleacher. And so many people are coming in. There's the various classes have a big thing going on, you know, struggling to get all the classes to participate. Almost every class is. I think some of those other classes, it'd be fun if somebody else thinks of the same idea, you know, where you might want to say the Arakawa family for the class of 1832, you know, or whoever it is, you know, somebody that you might want to honor in that way. Great idea for everybody.
Right, and you know, the class challenge is out there. Our class, 1960, has so far raised 2 rows of bleachers, and we're working on our 3rd.
You're on the 3rd.
So, any other classes out there, come on out, try to beat us.
You don't want 1960 guys to beat you, do you?
Yeah.
Come on, bring it on, bring it on.
Okay.
Okay.
One more thing while we're on community affairs. We were at a meeting with Les Lowe, the administrator for Maui Memorial Hospital. And it's a big news now with the privatization, hopefully, of the hospital with Hawaii Health Systems joining, or perhaps Kaiser. And healthcare in Maui is big, and it should be big. But with the cutbacks in Medicare, Medicaid, our medical system, our health system is failing because of the economics. And we need new blood, new money. And a venture with Kaiser or Hawaii Health Systems would be great. So let's keep our fingers crossed that this comes around.
We've been working for many years now with Halemakua. And Halemakua, the same thing. And it's one of the things that as a community we need to realize and understand, that we do need to make contributions to almost all of these places. They can't run it themselves. You could say Lahainaluna High School is a public school. But this field has not been funded by the government. It's been funded primarily by the community and by one person in particular. Now the state has come up and has, you know, done, let's say, its share also, or a small share. The same with Halemakua. Halemakua would have closed, I would bet, years ago if it wasn't for your foundation and your group that have been funding and getting contributions.
Right, and we're still having financial difficulties. It's tough in today's world, but we're joined at the hip with the hospital. So hopefully the hospital will right their ship, and we'll be tagging along with them. Halemakua will be. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
And together that makes a big difference, because if they're working together, if somebody is in the hospital but doesn't need regular hospital care at that point, and they can get them easily because they're working attached at the hip with Halemakua, the person can get to a better space for them a lot easier than they could have at earlier times.
Right, absolutely. So let's get on to financing now. The world of financing is huge, and it's tricky, and you need a professional to help you. And David Freedman.
Let me give you one little thing on David. Okay, David's phone number, if you want to call him, 808-385-8558, David Freedman. And if you don't reach him right away, leave a message, he'll get back to you. But I think he's an amazing source of information. And give us, you know, one of the things that we've been talking about recently is how people can use, in some cases, a couple of properties. So fill us in.
Okay, well, first off, I love hearing the two of you talk about our lives here on Maui, and one of the things that, for the person who's driving on vacation and catching us as on vacation, this is a community, and so when you have someone who is touching, the football field or the retirement assisted living of Halemakua, I'm reminded this is what makes Hawaii so beautiful. Right now it's Thursday, and we have a potential tropical storm coming in, and here we're sitting, and if the tropical storm becomes a little bit stronger, you'll be glad to know that you pulled weeds with someone once, and then if you see them after, you go, remember me, and they do, and that's part of the community. So I just always love this show, how it just goes across the board. For financing, I'd say interest rates are great. Guidelines are opening up. People are allowed to use assets and collateral that they were no longer looking at for the last 5 years. And this has opened up the door. So if you're in your home and you see another home that you want to buy, there might be a way to blanket or encumber the property that you live in to assist you in the purchase of a new property. If you had one property that was perhaps upside down, the values were low, and you have another property that's done well, you can see about offsetting the loan to value or the equity position. I think the key thing is, again, it's working with someone closely, being aware of what your goals are, and making sure that that person is the right partner for you to achieve them. Communication is important, credibility, obviously what we do with finance. The market that rates are not created by me. In the overall market, the interest rates are continuing to drop. And so we're seeing a 30-year fix now back in the threes, which we haven't seen for 2 years. So I think we'll see some activity towards purchase. And if you couldn't qualify or didn't think you could qualify, I'd say now is a good time to reevaluate your situation. There's some fantastic properties out there. I'm always just going, how is it people are not seeing what I'm seeing?
Absolutely, David. And I think what he's saying is true. There's still some great values, especially here in Maui. In West Maui, there's so few homes still available in a certain price range. Let's say under $1 million. Certainly anywhere near $500,000. There's very, very few. So if you want to get a place, now's the time. There's no better time. And you may be able to do it with a lower down payment. Like David says, you may be able to use 2 different properties to get yourself going. Maybe eventually you're selling one of them. But you need to get in now, because you're going to have a much better chance of qualifying for a mortgage under 4% than you're going to when they're back at 6.5%, or God forbid, 7%.
Absolutely.
And it'll happen.
Even if it happens slowly, it will happen. And I think the thing is, once you actually step and take that transition into buying a home, if it's your first home, second home, or whatever it is, the adventure begins. And what a better time than knowing that you can have long-term financing under 4%, great stability. I don't think we'll see payments much lower than that in the next 20 years.
Never, never. And the other thing is owning your own home. Is there anything in the world greater than owning your own home? I mean, I will always remember the first place that I ever owned. Maybe I'll always remember any place that I've owned, but it is such an amazing thing. A lot of people, my family, never owned a home of their own. So I think it's been a miracle to me that I've been able to purchase properties, own homes, that Roy and I have been able to have great homes together. Life, to me, is pretty amazing. But any of you, when you own your first home and you go in there and you go to Lowe's or to Ace or somewhere and you pick up your paint and you go in and you can paint the walls red and blue and pink or whatever you want. You go in and you look at it and you think, this could be so darling if only I owned it. You can
That's
own
right.
it.
You don't need a landlord's permission.
No.
Just go ahead and do it.
You can put holes in the walls.
Yeah.
You just call David Freedman, 808-385-8558. That's where it all starts.
And the thing to remember is this: once you're either helping someone own their home by renting it for them, or you can help yourself by owning your own home. And when you own your own home, you can paint it whenever you want. If there's not a homeowners association, almost any color you'd like.
That's right.
I live in Lahainaluna. I've changed the color of my house several times.
He has changed the color of his house. It's fabulous. He happens to live in the home that Roy grew up in.
Yes.
Fabulous home on Lahainaluna. I love that home. I love the property more than anything. But he's really made it his home, and it's really amazing. I mean, there's great trees in the backyard. He had room for his boat. He could do almost anything there. It's your home.
And that goes back to the purpose of this show. I think it's encouraging where people who've been in the community for a long time, who was born and raised here. I'm a transplant. Betty, I believe you are too. And it's one of these things where by putting work in, whether it's through helping the football field and helping pull weeds, which is so simple, 3 hours, that's one movie. You're not going to notice it if you give it, but you'll always remember it if you do. And it's
true.
It's the community. If you're living here, if you're visiting here, it's not that hard to go ahead and make the transition to owning here. And when you do, you really feel a part of it in a different way.
Being up, you're right. At Lahainaluna High School, helping out, pulling weeds. It sounds silly, it sounds whatever, a lot of people wouldn't even realize how fun it was until you get up there and you're suddenly, I worked hard. I mean, anymore, I think it's hard being in my office and showing property, etc. But all of a sudden I was out there really working as hard as I could to get, it was more than pulling weeds. We're talking pulling trees out. There was a point where Lanny Tejada is in there, just tearing stuff out. I don't know. It really was Louisa Shelton. I'll tell you, some of the ladies there, we worked harder than we probably worked in 30 years. But it was all a lot of fun. And it's going to be the next couple of Saturdays. We're going to start at 7 in the morning and go until noon. Again, I think we probably are going to get aced out this weekend, but maybe not. We're not going to give it up until it's time to give it up. So
do people just show up at 7 o'clock?
People just show up.
Okay.
If you happen to have your very own weed whacker, bring it with you. There were a lot. I didn't have any tools to take with me, but a lot of people brought multiple tools. There were hose and picks and gloves. I'm going to buy more gloves.
Okay.
Oh, David's got gloves. All right, we got him committed now.
Oh, yes.
You need heavy gloves just because I was good. I started out with kind of little prissy gloves that you would use to pull backyard weeds. I was like killing my hands and had to go down to Ace Hardware to get something because we were breaking the weed whackers. And while I was down there, I bought the heaviest gloves you've ever seen. So I'm gloved now.
Okay.
So we're going to have more.
And that's the way it should be gloved, correct?
We should be gloved, exactly.
Absolutely.
We should be gloved.
Yeah, and if you need more information on this, call our office, Sakamoto Properties, 669-0070. And when you're interested in listing or selling, take a look at our website, sakamotoproperties.com. And we can help you with all the inventory in Hawaii. Not only Maui, we've got access to all of Hawaii. And all of the world, basically.
All of the world.
Yes.
We have great referrals almost anywhere. One of the things David was talking a minute ago about is actually being called cross-collateralization. And I think it's an interesting word or pair of words to really think about why it works. But I think, again, if you've got more than one property, like we have somebody right now that has a home in California and a home here, but buying a third property, and they were able to, they kept putting it off because they couldn't quite figure it out, and now all of a sudden, by utilizing that tool of cross-collateralization, we're able to get the deal finalized, and somebody's going to have the home they want. She can later, when the time is right, sell the other property or the mainland property. And
can you sum that up real quick?
Sure. Basically what it is we all move through life and things change, and so today money in the bank is considered an asset and stocks in your portfolio are considered an asset. Free and clear properties just recently were not. They were looked at as, that's nice to have. But the optimistic outlook from the banks has said, these are good assets, and so what they'll do is they look at someone's overall picture and profile, and they're now willing to encumber or put a lien or a promise that the debt will be serviced and paid correctly, and allowing the person to use the equity in the other property. It's a great tool that the people have already paid for by owning the property. So basically, it's a great indicator that I believe banks are optimistic about lending, because now they're really trying to go, how do we make loans work? And there was a couple of years ago, I don't think that was the attitude.
No, definitely not.
If anything, there was a point where if you owned too many properties, it was a bad thing. You weren't able to possibly borrow if you owned more than 2 or 3 properties. They were really watching you really closely, whereas now I don't think that's a nightmare at all.
Not really. And again, it's one of these things where, we can talk about the storm or some of the things that are going on in the world today. And ultimately, the older I get, the more I realize it just stays the same, and the banks are ready to lend, and we're in a great environment. And
they're in the business of lending money, and that's how they make money. They don't make any money if everybody just sits on it.
Absolutely.
So good.
So everybody's got a job to do here.
Yes. And ours is to sell real estate.
And ours is to sell real estate.
And to the person listening, it's your job to enjoy being on Maui and realize it's not that hard to move here, and that Sakamoto Properties and myself will help you do it.
Absolutely.
We're ready, willing, and able to get you here on Maui.
Yeah.
The greatest place to live. It just makes me scratch my head that people come here and actually want to get on the plane when they go back home. They just don't take a job. Oh wait, I think they do that.
They do, yeah. No, that is absolutely the truth. They do that. A lot of people do it. And probably, it's not for everybody. A lot of people are very committed. But, there's nobody, I don't think, that leaves here thinking, oh, thank heaven. They're always sad. And I think that's one of the sweetest stories of all on Maui, is people at the airport talking, or often someone will say, if it rains the day you're leaving, the gods are crying and you'll come back. And I think that really is. There's so many great fun stories around Maui, but it is sad to leave. And I don't think I've seen many people leaving here thinking joyously, thank goodness I'm out of here. Everybody is sad that leaves Maui. I'm sad if I leave Maui for 3 days.
No, but you know what the best part is?
Coming home.
Yes.
This is true.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You leave.
You get to come home. We get to come home.
Sand on the porch is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, in fact, we're leaving next week, and we're on our way to Shanghai. Our 4th trip there, marketing trip, and we've developed some great contacts and look forward to it. And also some great Peking duck.
That's right. There are
Beijing
people.
duck now.
Beijing duck.
Politically correct.
There's people all over the world that want to come to Maui, and that's really pretty exciting. We still find that our buyers are coming from California more than anywhere, but they're coming from all over the world. We now, however, are at the 1-minute warning.
Wow.
So let's all start thinking about is the election coming up. So if you want to, you may want to get yourself set up to vote ahead of time, which you can do absentee, so do that. Pay attention to what's happening, read about all of the issues, and be ready. It's almost November.
Absolutely. Whether you like, say, the GMO initiative, vote yes, vote no, whatever you're going to vote, vote.
Vote.
Or as the saying goes, no can grumble.
No can grumble.
No hoo-hoo.
Well, pretty soon, I
That's
think
right.
we've got Neil Everett coming back up and Danny Couch, and I think it's time for us to all say aloha.
Aloha.